The diverging road in the poem, The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, may be read as being an extended metaphor for two kinds of life choices in general, the conventional virtues, the unconventional. Answer number one. The Road Not Taken poem was written by Robert Frost in 1950. The speaker is metaphorically comparing the two roads to two kinds of life choices in general, the conventional virtues, the unconventional. Let's analyze them in detail. The first stanza presents the main situation the poet faces. One day, speaker was traveling on a road. There were yellow woods across the road. The road was divided in two different parts. It represents two different life choices. He had to choose one road between the two roads. He feels sorry because he could not travel both. Taking two roads is not possible. In our life also, we want to select one path. He stood at that fork and looked at the both roads very carefully. He took a long time to decide whether it is good or not for him. These roads represents the life paths. The same happens in lives too. We have to make decisions thinking about its good and bad consequences in the future. Then he realized that both the roads are looking same. There is no differences. He selects the less traveled road and he prefers it. Here speaker is uncertain about his decision and his uncertainty leads him to overthinking. It happens in our lives. When we take a decision, we think again and again. Either the decision is right or wrong. Sometimes we take a right path but remain in confusion that if we took another one, that might be a better than this one. It emphasizes this confusion. The speaker ultimately chooses the less traveled path, which suggests a willingness to take risks and make unconventional choices. It depicts the individualism of the speaker. When the speaker was walking on the second road, he observes that the both paths are similar because no one had stepped through to disturb the leaves on both roads. The speaker consoles himself that he will take first road another day and looks satisfied. He wishes that he could go back, but he thinks he will never be able to come back to take the first road. This may be indicating that making a choice out of two objectives is responsible for our future, and that makes all the difference. The choice may bring us right or wrong. He will be telling about his choice with a sigh. Sigh is releasing a deep breath, expressing happiness, relief, and sadness. So if the choice proves out to be right, it will be a sigh of happiness or relief. And if the choice wrong, it will be a sigh of disappointment. The life is full of choices, and choices we make determine our destiny. Every decision we make has consequences, and we cannot go back and change our choices once they have been made. Thank you. The diverging roads in the poem, The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, may be read as being an extended metaphor for two kinds of life choices in general, the convention virtues, the unconventional. The poem The Road Not Taken was written by English poet Robert Frost in 1915. The diverging roads may be read as being an extended metaphor for two kinds of life choices in general, the conventional versus the unconventional. Let's analyze the above concept in detail below. In the first stanza, the poet indicates the setting of the poem.
The diction Jello would emphasize that here we can see the two roads diverged. However, the poet confused to select one way to travel. Nevertheless, the travel waits a long time before make a decision. The narrator metaphorically compared the life choices to the two roads. How man confuses to select one way from two roads similarly, he gets trouble to make better choice from the opportunities. The poem of metaphor Jelobut also implies that the speaker is at a crossroads in their life, where the choices they make will have a significant impact on their future. The first metaphor that emphasizes in the title of the poem, The Road Not Taken, this metaphor refers to the choices that we make in life and how those choices determine the paths that we take. From the diction not we can identify that the poet has chosen a path that is different from the others. This implies the speaker takes risk when he selects his own path. The second metaphor for true road represent the choices that we make in life and how they can lead us down different paths. This decision impact our future. This is reinforced by the line of third stanza line, and both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black, which suggests that the speaker's choice would be the first from the two road, because the speaker likes adventures. The fourth metaphor that employs from the races, crazy and wanted bias, this metaphor suggests that the path is not well traveled and that is will require effort and determination. The poet is willing to take on this as a challenge. The fifth metaphor for the praise has made all the difference. This emphasizes when we take a decision that will change our entire life in future. It will give fortune and unfortune. Even a small wrong decision can ruin our entire life with a sense of regret. However, the potential must be appreciated. In conclusion, Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken, employs a powerful use of metaphor to convey its message about the choices we make in life and the paths that we take. This is a hidden meaning poem that is decision-making process and its impact on our future.
The diverging roads in the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost may be read as being an extended metaphor for two kinds of life choices in general, the conventional versus the unconventional. Explain. Answer number 3. The poem The Road Not Taken was written by an English poet Robert Frost in 1950. Let's analyze how the writer used metaphor to compare two kinds of choices in his life by the following paragraph. In the first stanza emphasizes that the speaker's difficulty for choose the path. When the speaker walks through the yellow wood, he sees the two roads. He can't travel by both roads. Represent the two choices. So he can't choose both. It is not possible. Then he realizes that the both roads are the same. There is no differences between two paths. But he selects the road less traveled. I took the one less traveled by. It emphasizes the speaker's choice. In this poem, speaker is uncertain about his decision making, and his uncertainty guide for his overthinking and overload. It happens our present life. When we taking a decision for our life, we want to think about it again and again. When the speaker was walking through other road, he realized that the road he chose was same. When he thinks back to go his first road, he is not able to go back. In conclusion, we can see how the writer take decision for his life. If we want to take decision for our life, We want to think deeply. After that, we can take our own decision. We prepare ourselves for better tomorrow.
In the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, the diverging roads may be read as being an extended metaphor for two kinds of life choices in general, the conventional versus the unconventional explained. Answer number 4. The diverging roads can be interpreted as an extended metaphor for two different life choices, the conventional versus the unconventional. The poem describes two roads diverging in a wood, and the speaker must choose which one to take travel. One road is described as grazing and wanted wealth, while the other one is less traveled by. This can be seen as a metaphor for choosing between a well-trodden conventional path in life versus a less traveled unconventional one. The speaker ultimately chooses the less traveled path, which suggests a willingness to take risks and make unconventional choices. This can be seen as a message to readers to not simply follow the crowd, but to have the courageous to make their own decisions and take the road less traveled, even if it is more challenging.
In the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, the diverging roads may be read as being an extended metaphor for two kinds of life choices in general, the conventional versus the unconventional. Explain. The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost is a poem which explains the different choices made by an individual and the results gained through them. The writer portrays two different paths in which he selects the one which is not frequently used. The two roads are simply compared as an extended metaphor of two various ways of decision. But the writer has waited for a long period of time to select the path in which he wants to travel, and to continue his journey successfully. The speaker is at the far end and is unable to see the final destination, which the two paths finally lead because the forest is denser and the ways are not straight. Despite he is not aware and cannot predict which road was less traveled. Through this, writer emphasizes that the decisions we make in our life at various beginnings may be also an end. And perhaps the only thing we can conclude that the choices we make in our life creates all the differences. The traveler has chosen the unconventional path. Through this, the writer strongly emphasizes individualism. The choices we make today are the reasons which builds up the future. The choices which are made by you today are the ones which decides your future. Through this, the poet emphasizes a strong moral to the people. He is creating an awareness among people to be very careful while finding solutions and making tough decisions in life. One should take responsibility and make wise decisions because once we make a mistake, it is difficult to start from the initial point. One bad decision can ruin your whole life. Therefore, the choices we make today fully depends on your future. We may face various challenges throughout our life, and our life is full of choices, but the better decision we make, the better future we face.
The diverging roads in the poem Road Not Taken by Robert Frost may be read as being an extended metaphor for two kinds of life choices in general, the conventional versus the unconventional. Explain it. Answer number 6. The Road Not Taken poem was written by Robert Frost. The speaker is metaphorically comparing the two roads to two kinds of life choices in general, the conventional versus the unconventional. Let's analyze that in detail. The first stanza presents the main situation of the poet's face. One day, a speaker was traveling on the road. There were yellow boats across the road. The road was divided into two different paths. It represents two different life choices. He had to choose the one road between two roads. He feels sorry because he couldn't travel both roads. Taking two roads is not possible at a time. He stood at that fork and looked at the both roads very carefully. He took a long time to decide whether it is good or bad for him. This road represents his life. We have to make decisions by thinking about whether it's good or bad. Then he realized that both roads are looking same. There is no difference. He selects the less traveled road and he prepares for it. Here, speaker is uncertain about his decision and his uncertainty leads him to overthinking. It happens in our life. When we take a decision, we think again and again, either the decision is right or wrong. Sometimes we take a right path, but remain in confusion that if we took another one, that might be better than this one. It emphasizes his confusion. The speaker ultimately chooses the less traveled path, which suggests a willingness to take risk and make unconventional choices. It also depicts the individualism. When the speaker was walking on the second road, he observes that the both paths are similar because no one had stepped through the disturb the leaves on both roads. The speaker consoles himself that he will take first road another day and looks satisfied. He wishes that he could go back out. He thinks he will never be able to come back to take the first road. This may be indicating that making a choice out of two objectives is responsible for our future. And that makes all the difference. The choices may bring us right or wrong. He will be telling about his choice with a sign. Sign is releasing a deep breath, expressing happiness, relief, and sadness. So if the choice proves out to be right, it will be a sign of happiness or relief. And if the choice is wrong, it will be a sign of disappointment.
The diverging road in the poem, The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, may be read as being an extended metaphor for two kinds of life choices in general, the conventional versus the unconventional. Explain it. Answer 7. The entire poem of The Road Not Taken is an extended metaphor in which the roads that diverge symbolize life's many choices. In the same way, the people are generally unable to see what the future holds. The speaker is unable to see what lies ahead on each path. Furthermore, what the speaker thinks he or she understands about each path at the moment of decision making. Later, he or she turns out to have been less clear-cut, underscoring the impossibility of predicting where one's life choices will lead. Just as there are no do-overs in life, the speaker acknowledges that he or she can only travel one road and will not be granted the chance to come back and try another route. In these ways, The diverging roads in the poem symbolize all of life's choices, the confusion of having to make choice in the moment, the painful impossibility of foreseeing their consequences, and senses when looking back that those choices define your life, even when you can't know in what way or even whether they did at all. Even after having chosen the second road, the speaker is unable to evaluate his or her experience because the speaker can't know how things would have been different if he or she had chosen the first road. In the final stanza, speaker imagines him or herself in the distant future, looking back on this choice being made. But with the way that the speaker interprets the choice of which road to take as having made all the difference. Many people read the poem straightforwardly and believe the choice did make all the difference. The poem, however, is not clear about the speaker's final assertion is true. The speaker explained he or she chose to take the second road because it seemed more grassy and less poor than the first. But the two roads were actually anything but special about the road the speaker chose to take. The poem further questions whether taking the second route could have possible made all the difference or even any difference at all. The poem implies the speaker in the future may look back and construct a narrative of his or her life that is simpler and clean, and which gives the choice more meaning that the truth would support. Using this interpretation, the poem can be read as commenting more broadly on how all people fictionalize their lives by interpreting their choices as being more purposeful and meaningful than they really are.
The diverging roads in the poem by Robert Frost may be read as being an extended metaphor for two kinds of life choice and gender, the conventional versus the unconventional. Explain. Answer number 9. The Road Not Taken poem was written by Robert Frost in 1915 in England. The speaker, Robert, was mainly talk about two kinds of life choices in gender using metaphor compared with two roads. The conventional versus the unconventional. Let's analyze them in detail in following paragraphs. In The Road Not Taken, the speaker describes him or himself as facing a choice between which of two roads to take. The speaker's choice functions as an extended metaphor for all the choices that the speaker and all people must make in life. Through the speaker's experience, the poem explores the nature of choices and what it means to be a person posed to choice. As a human, we can't take two decisions at the same time. The impossible reality is that we cannot take decisions at the same time. The writer metaphorically explained the same thing you can see in the first stanza. The writer didn't know much information about the road and get information by seeing. He confused about take right path. Finally, he selected the path that people less traveled road. When we take a decision, we have to know some information about that. Ask someone or search and get information. Like that, the writer get information by seeing. So the writer metaphorically explained how we can get information when taking a decision. Further, the writer described about the road. The road was so long and it is not straight road. It has lots of turning points. Like that, when we take a decision, we can't reach our goal easy way and straight way. We have to face some difficulty to achieve successfully our decision. So it is metaphorically illustrate life's challenges when we take a decision. The writer used another metaphor that employs from the phrase has made all the difference. This illustrates when we take a decision that will change our entire life in future. It is realized uncertainly life. The small wrong decision can spoil our life, but the potential must be appreciated. In conclusion, Robert used super powerful metaphor to convey the message that the choice we make in life and the ways that we take. So we can clearly understand this is a hidden meaning poem. So we can get our decision, we can get message, our decision make our future brightly. Thank you.